Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Trump's AG Pam Bondi refuses to take any crap from this hysterical Democrat who tries bullying her around during her own confirmation hearing. This is amazing. Let's dive in.
He has also said illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation. He said that in December 2023. Do you agree with that statement?
Senator, I am not familiar with that statement, but what I can tell you is I went to the border a few months ago. I went to Yuma, Arizona, and what I saw at that border was horrific, Senator. It was horrific.
Ms. Bondi,
I went to a rape crisis center.
That is
If I could
not my
finish,
question.
I went to a rape crisis center. Well, I'm not familiar with the statement, but I went to a rape crisis center. I met with Border Patrol agents. I'm sure you've been to the border
Bondi,
as well, so
I
you
want to
could
get to
answer
my
that.
next question. So, I believe that you responded to a question from Senator Whitehouse, and let me get your response again. You said that the White House, if I'm putting words in your mouth, correct me. You said that the White House will play no role in investigative or charging decisions in the DOJ. Is that correct?
Senator, what I said is that it is the Department of Justice's decision to determine what cases will be prosecuted.
What role will the White House have in investigative or prosecutorial decisions of the DOJ?
It is the Department of Justice's decision, Senator.
So that sounds to me that you're saying that the White House will not have any kind of role. Meanwhile, though, you have an incoming president who said, I have the absolute right to do what I want to do with the Justice Department. And in fact, President-elect Trump considers the DOJ to be his law firm. I ask you this. If President-elect Trump asks, suggests, or hints that you as Attorney General should investigate one of his perceived political enemies, would you do so?
Senator Hirono, I wish you had met with me. Had you met with me, we could have discussed many things and gotten to know.
I am listening to you now. Could you respond to the question?
Yeah, you were the only one who refused to meet with me, Senator. But what we would have discussed is that it is the job of the Attorney General to
I'm very
follow
happy to
the
listen to
law.
your responses under oath, Ms. Bondi. So I think it's really important to us that the Attorney General be independent of the White House. And you have a president-elect who considers the AG's office his law firm. I would like to know whether if the president suggests, hints, asks that you as Attorney General should investigate one of his perceived enemies?
Senator, I
do?
certainly have not heard the president say that. But what I will tell you is 2/3 of Americans have lost faith in the Department of Justice. And it's statements like that, I believe,
Ms.
that make
Bondi.
people continue to lose faith. If I am confirmed as Attorney General, it will be my job
Getting
to
on
not
to my
only
next
keep
question,
America
you're not
safe,
responding.
but restore integrity to that department.
Why don't we
and that's
move
what
on
I
to
plan
something
on
that
doing
you said?
every single day as Attorney General.
All right, I need something stronger than Tylenol. I think I need some full-blown ibuprofen. In order to get through that kind of hearing with this petulant, whiny, complaining, know-nothing that is this Democrat senator, I believe it's the Democrat from Hawaii, Hirono, I believe is her name. She's not well liked up on the Hill, okay? She's not well liked by even her own colleagues in her own party because, let's be honest, if you are going to be elected as senator, you should not be looking down constantly and reading your notes while trying to hide it as best you can. Most senators don't need a script because they are capable of making the arguments themselves. They know what they're going to say. They have rehearsed it. And they will bring it to the committee floor. They don't need to constantly look down at a piece of paper. And I get it, public speaking isn't always everyone's thing. But if you are a sitting senator, you'd think you'd be good at public speaking in some regards. Now, wouldn't you? This isn't. We've gone past bless your heart mode here. So I'm sorry if I'm getting a little petty here, but for me to sit there and just listen to these weird questions that have no bearing on what job that I could do. For instance, if I was being asked about what would you do if the president gave you this order? Well, seeing that he is my boss, seeing that if I'm to step into this role, I would execute it if it is within the bounds of the Constitution. It's really that simple. And if I don't do it, he's going to fire me and get someone who will. Now, granted, you might not like that, Senator, because you don't want to give your consent, and that's understandable. That is your prerogative. But I'm not answering these questions. I am not, I'm going to be, I'm a little too blunt to be in politics because I would not have as much decorum in that situation because, frankly, at some point I would have snapped and just angrily retorted, well, I would do it without having to look at my notes while I'm asking a simple question. This woman is just not qualified to be a senator. And if you ever want to look at an argument for saying, well, senators really shouldn't be elected by the people and maybe the states shouldn't have that kind of governing body, you need to really look at this woman right here because she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't fully understand the consequences of her actions or her questions. She's only smart enough to know the political game. And that game is in a state like Hawaii, where the vast majority of them are Democrats, mainly because they've hollowed out the middle class. There is no middle class in Hawaii. It's only rich people and poor people. That's the exact same problem that you have in California. It's the same problem you have in Illinois. It's the same problem you have in New York. And it's starting to become the same problem in Minnesota and in now former Democrat states. Wisconsin is starting to realize that, oh, Democrats can't govern. And that's why all those swing states voted for Trump. They know that the Justice Department has been incredibly corrupted. It has been hacked. It has been misused and weaponized against the average American citizen, all to protect the hurt feelings of the Washington champagne socialists, for just lack of a better term, the cocktail party connoisseurs up in D.C. who have basically lost the plot and don't fully understand what's going on with the average citizen. And for the most part, these people vote Democrat, okay? Because they think that they are better than everyone. Because they have more money, they have the influence, they currently have the power structures, or at least they had it, until Donald Trump quite literally ripped it from their fingers and said, you are done, take a hike, okay? So Pam Bondi is out here doing a fantastic job of dealing with this know-nothing senator. Man, I could not do that if I was in her chair, okay? Because the reality is I would finally snap and say something just incredibly mean. Because this senator is probably one of those students that had to wear a dunce cap in school. She was probably told to go sit in the corner. When she was cold, her dad probably told her to sit in the corner. Corner is 90 degrees. Yes, I know, that's a terrible joke, but that doesn't belong in a Senate chamber, okay? That sort of decorum shouldn't be there. But those sort of questions shouldn't be there either. Because ultimately, this Democrat senator wants to play the political game, wants to score points with her constituents, and look like the righteous warrior who is trying to trap the evil troll coming out of the cave. The reality is, the only people coming out of the cave have realized that, hey, this is all a mirage, the world is fake, we're leaving the cave. Plato quite literally made an allegory about it. It's quite literally called the Plato's allegory of the cave. That's what's happening across the political spectrum when it comes to these know-nothing politicians who ultimately have just lost the plot and don't realize that they are hamstringing the best chance for good reform in our federal government. But that would admit that they haven't been governing well to begin with, so they can't afford that stain on their legacy. So ultimately, Pam Bondi is likely going to be, she's not only been nominated, I think she's going to take it. Pete Hegseth, I hope he gets it, but some folks might break rank on that. But ultimately, this is the best chance we have to fully take a good look at our federal government and say, you need to reform, you need to be scaled back, and maybe this department needs to be cut entirely. Pam Bondi represents that idea, and she's going to do fantastic as Attorney General. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Political. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch y'all in the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.